Man, there's been a lot going on in the world, right? It's been a crazy, crazy time. So I want to thank you for those of you that watched my last video. It's been a couple days. I just been in the trenches. So thank you, first of all the people who are new to the channel, who I think followed me from the video about TD Jakes. Thank you. Appreciate you joining, subscribing to the channel. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. All right. Let's have this conversation, all right? There's a lot going on. Let's have this conversation. I'm going to try not to take too long, all right, because I know y'all are busy. All right, first things first, welcome to CNN. I'm Kirk Kennedy. Let's go in, all right? On this channel, this is what we try to do as best as possible. We take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them, all right? That's what we do. Not in a self-righteous way. We just try and honor the Lord. All right, let's have this conversation. Katt Williams just did an interview with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay, which is Shannon Sharpe's YouTube channel, right? This video has gone super viral. I'm talking about, like, I checked it earlier today. It had 32 million views. Like, I would cry if I had a video that went 32 million views, at least depending on what it said. A lot of people are talking about this interview. We also have recently, within the same time period, the Jeffrey Epstein had files that have been sealed with people's names that he was associated with, senators, famous people, right? Well, those documents are now being unsealed, and so names are coming out. People who were associated, how many times they went to his island and all of it. And that's coming out. And there's supposed to be more of a fallout from that stuff. Katt Williams is blowing up. And I just had this thought I wanted to ask you to consider this. Think about this for a second. Since basically 2014, since Mike Brown's death, right? And the emergence of Black Lives Matter, there has been a growing sort of exposing people, organizations, exposing people's actions, sometimes their thoughts and motives, right? You know, when Black Lives Matter came on the scene, they exposed, to some degree, they exposed some policies, some racism within the police force. They brought things to light. People started to pay attention to these things. And then Black Lives Matter got exposed for the leader, Patricia Cullors, and them for being just frauds, right? Then you had stuff like the Me Too movement, right? Hashtag was exposing, mostly women exposing powerful men in the entertainment industry, music, media, all of it, right? Stuff that would have never happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Men were getting away with ridiculous things, forcing women into situations of intimacy they did not want to be in, just to be cast in movies or whatever it was, right? Men like Matt Lauer lost his job. Harvey Weinstein went to prison. These are heavyweights in the world. You see that exposure happening, right? You see this stuff just happening and happening and happening. You got the Democrats exposing certain things about the Republicans. I think January 6th exposed the heart of the Republicans in many ways. Republicans exposing the Democrats and their motives. You got Disney being exposed for their sexual acronym community agenda, right? You have all these different things just growing and growing and growing, and all this expose. The Southern Baptist Convention got exposed for a lot of essaying happening in there. And by essaying, I don't mean essay like ESSAY. I mean capital S, capital A, right? They got exposed for that. Ravi Zacharias, after he died, was exposed for that, right? We're seeing, then you got this recently, Katt Williams being exposed, right? You got George Floyd story now being exposed. Everything seems to be, I've never, and maybe I'm not old enough to remember, but my lifetime, I've never seen this much. I've never seen so many back to 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 back exposure. It's exposing people. You got witchcraft and what's going on behind the music industry. Recently, like 2 days ago, Lil Nas X, right? Mr. Dude who lap danced on the devil said that the record labels are blocking him releasing a Christian album, which if it's not genuine, I hope they block that joint. But like blocking him from putting, and he said he's going to start exposing everything. And he said, wait till January 12th. So I'm putting this video out a couple days before it. But even he said he's hiding in a safe place so nobody can touch him. You got Kanye West exposing all this stuff. Like, has anyone else asked, like, what is happening right now? It's almost like, I mean, Katt Williams' interview, let's just be honest. I don't know what you think about Katt Williams. I don't know what you think about him. He's never been a comedian that I thought was that funny. I mean, he's had some jokes here and there, but a lot of the comedians that he exposed, I tended to think that they're funnier than him. Like, I would watch their specials over his. Just a preference. You might think he's the funniest dude out. He's never been that for me. But I thought, man, wow. And it wasn't like the stuff he was saying was like crazy. I mean, it was like wild stuff, but it wasn't like, to me, it wasn't 32 million views worthy, right? But there's a deeper thing going on here. There's a lot of exposure happening to the point where everyone's trying to out other people, exposing these things. A lot of people, Kat Von D recently got saved and saying what happens in witchcraft and what happens in these, and she's exposing that world, right? All these things are happening right now. And when this stuff happens, this is how I am, and you don't have to be like this, obviously, we're all different. I don't believe in coincidence, I believe in providence, all right? So I don't believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe that, but I believe God lets things happen for a reason, right? And so when I think about like, Lord, what are you doing? Like here's the verse, and don't take part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but expose them. Like, why is the Lord allowing all this stuff to come out? And then I had this thought, and I just offer this to you, and you take it for what it's worth. I think that the Lord is doing a couple things for different groups of people, right? I think I'll start with for the people who are believers, the people who believe in Jesus, like myself. I am a person who is of the Christian tradition. I believe in Jesus. I don't like to call myself a Christian as much because I think that name has lost its luster, even though I still am one. I like to be a fear of the Lordian, right? I want to fear the Lord, right? For people like us, you know what I think the Lord is doing? And we got to be honest, right? Many of us as Christians, we're just drawn to the world. Like we love the world. That's why, even though I like some of these channels, that's why a lot of like Christian content creators, their channels are more like the Christian TMZ. Like sometimes I look at like what people are putting out, like, man, how's that going to be edifying to know that about Taylor Swift? Like, why do I need to know that? And don't get me wrong. Sometimes I make videos about what's happening, but a lot of times Christian content creators are giving you content about people who are famous and stuff because they know that you'll click on it. And if we're being honest, so much of our lives are inundated with celebrities and famous people and who's rich and who's that. We want to know about their lives as if their lives are so much better than ours. And we end up, in many ways, worshiping these people. Like if Christian content creators were not getting views talking about like non-Christian celebrities' lives, they wouldn't do those videos. We all get clicks and likes. I mean, we get clicks and likes because of it, because we talk about it. And I think, and what that's saying about us is that like, man, we are really inundated with the world. Like we really do. Many Christians are fascinated with the world and all of it. And so this is what I think the Lord is doing. I think by exposing like all these celebrities and their ties to Satan, exposing all these famous people and what they really do, the Lord, for his people, for people like you and me who are of the Christian tradition, the Lord is showing us, look, you worship these people, but let me show you who they worship. I want my people, stop worshiping these people. Stop worshiping them. Let me show you who they worship. Every once in a while, the Lord does something like he brings a conversion, right? Like Kanye West got converted and went on a rampage for about a 2-year period. And it was wonderful. He doesn't seem to be having that kind of faith today. I don't know where he is in his faith in the Lord. But like, there's a lot of, we're just, honestly, church, we are fascinated with just celebrity, worldly things. Many of us would rather watch and hear about the lives of people who are famous and what they're doing and who they're dating than we would about spending time with the Lord or trying to grow or all of that. We'll go. We'll do something that has to do with celebrity more than we'll go to a prayer meeting and do that. I bet you many of us haven't prayed for an hour in a long time, but we'll watch hours about famous people and Christian content creators who will talk about famous people, sometimes give a verse or two, and then we keep it moving. I think the Lord is trying to do for us is trying to say, look, you worship these people. Let me show you who they worship. The people that you worship, my son and daughter, they worship the devil. They worship Satan. That's what I think the Lord is doing for us. He's showing us, like, look at who these people worship. The people that you worship, that I worship, the people, the celebrities I want to see about. I only want to watch Christian content creators talk about famous people. I don't want to, I mean, I would love this, man. Ruslan is my dude. I bang with Ruslan and he does a lot of good stuff, but I would love to see y'all give him a couple 100,000 views of him just walking through the scriptures. But y'all don't want to do that. Y'all waiting for him to talk about some celebrity so that you can weigh in and see what we're so fascinated with these people that the Lord is graciously saying, I'm going to expose them and I'm going to show my people who those people worship so that my people can stop worshiping those people. I really think that's what's happening. It is incredible how much exposure, how people are getting exposed right now. It's fascinating. I've been tracking it since 2014. Like, wow, another joint, another joint, another joint, another joint, another joint. It's just like, whew. The Lord, I think he's trying to show his people, stop worshiping these folks because they worship the devil. And if you're so inundated with them, you start taking cues from them. I mean, I remember when Andrew Tate came out and all the red pill stuff really blew up, and they said some stuff that I thought was accurate, it was true about the world and about women. But there was this fascination from Christian dude, people, believers, fascinated with these people. Let me tell you something, man. Andrew Tate isn't about biblical manhood. He's not about that at all. His manhood is designed to manipulate women. What credible verse in the Bible do you say does that? I don't care what Myron and them at Fresh and Fit talk about. They may say true things, but those dudes will go to hell when they take their last breath because nothing they did was for the glory of God, which you and I are supposed to be living for. So we get in it, we watch these things, and we get impressed by them, and the Lord's just exposing them. We spend more time wondering what they're doing than trying to figure out what he's saying, right? So I think for the believer, I think the Lord is like, I'm going to expose this, the deeds of darkness, so you can see who they really worship. I know you love Taylor Swift. I know you love this people. I know you love this rapper. Let me give you the behind the scenes of these industry rituals so you know that they are actively, these people sign contracts to actively attack your faith. They try to cast spells through music, all this stuff, right? All this witchcraft stuff. So I think the Lord's doing that for his people. For those that are not Christians, I believe in this concept called common grace. And for those that are not believers, I think the Lord is showing them as well. Let me show you what's really going on. Is this what you really want your life to be about? Like you're striving to be like these people. And let me show you what these people really do. When these people are actually honest about what's happening, they hate it. They hate it. I remember recently watching this conversation between Kelly Clarkson and Kevin Hart. And Kelly Clarkson said, I've been paid millions, I've been offered millions of dollars to do things I do not want to do. And Kevin Hart went like this. And she whispered, have you had that happen too? You could hear it all. Have you had that? And he was like, yeah, we don't talk. And she was like, oh, we shouldn't talk about that. He was like, yeah, we don't want to talk about that. We don't talk about that. Like it was so obvious. It wasn't like trying to be funny. It was him trying to be like, don't say that. Don't say that. She felt comfortable saying it because she was like, I ain't with it. But he was with it. So I just think the Lord is showing even the people who are not believers, this is the lifestyle you want. You want to give your life to this and look at what happens to these people. Cassie exposing Diddy was like House of Cards. Whew. And I mean, this dude, we've been hearing about this dude for a long time, right? A long time. And now it's all coming out. TD Jakes, all of this stuff, right? Just exposing it. Like, oh, people always thought, man, Cassie, she's with Diddy. She's with all of this. And then you find out from her all she was going through. The Lord is showing the people who don't belong to him, is this really the life that you want? These people worship, they're going to make you do things that are against even your conscience, whether you believe in a God or not. These people are going to make you believe in a God, the God of this world. So God is showing them even, this is the life you want? Oh, they call it spirit guides on one level, but then you hear someone like Katt come on and be like, those ain't no spirit guides. Those are demons. Demons. God is being gracious both to his people and to people who aren't him, exposing all this stuff. For us, I think the Lord is trying to tell us this phrase. Remember the future. This is what we have in common. Katt Williams, Jeffrey Epstein, Cassie, all these people who are exposing people are going to do what the Lord's going to do. Remember the future. Tomorrow's not promised, but that day, the day of the Lord is. Let me tell you what's promised. This is what I think the Lord is doing for us, reminding us, and hopefully for people who are not believers, they get to this point. But remember this verse in Revelation 20? And then I saw a great white throne and him who was seated on it. From his presence, earth and sky fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Then another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged by what was written in the books according to what they had done. You see what that is? One day, every person, and listen to this, verse 13. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it. Death and Hades gave up the dead who were in them. They were judged, each one of them according to what they had done. Let me tell you something. Every celebrity, great and small, doesn't matter who you are, whether you were known by everyone or unknown by everyone, will stand in this scene. There is one more expose that's going to happen for all of us. There's one more. There's one more. What Katt Williams said was nothing. Viral, when God does this, it's going to be in front of all people. You're talking about viral, right? God is saying, remember the future. This is a scene that everyone's, and when the books are open, all of what we have done is going to be exposed. So I think what's happening here with all the Jeffrey Epstein exposure, Katt Williams, whatever, all these things that I've seen since Black Lives Matter to this moment, I think we should think, okay, what is the Lord doing here? Don't just look at it and be fascinated by it. What is the Lord doing right now? What is he showing us right now? We're so fascinated by the world. We're so fascinated. I want to see Christian content created. You know why my channel is probably never going to blow up? Because I'm never going to turn into a Christian TMZ channel. Never. Because it doesn't edify you. I love it when people say, bro, your channel has changed the way I think about things. That's more important to me than me doing a video on Taylor Swift because I know I'm going to get clicks possibly. But don't get me wrong. That stuff matters. I would love my channel to blow up. But if it doesn't, I don't care. Now, partly because I don't do this. I don't make my primary living from this. Some people do. But at the end of the day, like even as Christian content creators, we got to make sure that we're giving people the book, man. How is it edifying for you to find out what these people are in the sexual acronym community? What does that make? What does that do for you? It doesn't do anything for your soul. Like I want to feed people's souls. I want you to be built up. And it's probably because I'm a pastor. I want to build people up. So I think that the Lord is allowing all this exposure to remind us of the great day of exposure. And we have to press in. I'm not saying don't watch that stuff. I'm just saying watch out as you watch that stuff. Because I think the Lord is showing you like, look, we worship these people too much. My people worship these people too much. And so I'm going to expose those people so that my people see who those people worship, and those people worship the arch enemy of my people, Satan. That's what he's doing. And for the unbelievers, he's saying, look, do you really want to follow these people? You want to go to these rituals and have to do all this stuff? You want to go to a freak off and be forced to do something you don't want to do just to be famous? You want to go to Dubai and have these dudes treat you like crap and pay you money for it? And you do a fake selfie on a desert in Dubai like you're living your best life and you had to spend a couple of days being treated worse than an animal just to make, that's really what you want for yourself? Because you're pretty? Like, I think the Lord is going after it, whether you believe in him or not. If you're a believer, we're obligated to remember the future. Do not forget the day of the Lord. Remember the future. So have your fun, do those things, but don't let your fun have you. Remember, first three letters of funeral spell fun, and the wages of sin are death. We don't want to have so much fun entertaining these things that we end up not being edified by him. But what do I know? I'm just a dude that's a pastor that's just trying to be helpful. All right? Take it for what it's worth. I'm going to be back irritating people to the glory of God. Stirring one another up to love and good works. I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe to the channel. Go to KurtKennedy.com. Stop playing. It's 2024. Just go see what I got. I bet you I got something for you. Right? It's Grace Works. I'm getting ready to drop this new design called Jesus, the Rolling Stone. Don't try to steal it if you do. It's my idea. All right? Appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. And I will catch y'all on the next video. Grace and peace.